Hey guys, what's up? Game Boy here. So this first story is a pretty sad one. Terry Marshall, who played Real Badman from GTA 4, has unfortunately passed away. His brother, who goes by the name of Cooley Ranks on Instagram, said this. He said, "My brother has departed this physical reality and traded it in for some other dimension." Now it is unknown how he passed away, but if you look at the hashtags on his brother's Instagram post, you can see FCancer is in the hashtag. On a lighter note, yesterday was Shigeru Miyamoto's 68th birthday. So for this first story we have comes from Age of Empires 2. So there is a Lego set that is actually getting a lot of recognition, and a Twitter user named Age of Emma said this: "Would love to get this Age of Empires design more support." I'll leave a link down to it if you want to go support it. This next story comes from the Animal Crossing series, and nothing really happened with it, but a YouTuber named Gabriel Salas made a fan-made teaser trailer, I guess you can call it. In my opinion, I think it's really well put together. It's pretty much what would happen if Animal Crossing were to get a TV show. I think it looks great. This next story comes from Bloodborne. We have a couple of things to talk about, so I'll put a timestamp up if you don't want to hear this. So a Twitter user named Mitori literally made a threaded cane from this game, and I think it looks cool. I'll put a picture up for you to see. It looks really cool. Not only that, but this next story still comes from Bloodborne. An artist named David Romero made a couple of pictures from Super Mario in this style of Bloodborne, and I think it looks cool. I'll put a couple of them up for you to see, but this looks really awesome. And this next story comes from a game that I don't think I've ever really talked about. It's a game called Celeste. This is an indie game that's all about this girl climbing a mountain, and that's the main protagonist there. Well, the creator of the game, Maddie Thorson, has now confirmed that the character you play as, Madeline, is transgender. Maddie wrote this on, I think, a blog post, and they said, "During Celeste's development, I did not know that Madeline nor myself were trans. During the Farewell DLC's development, I began to form a hunch. Post-development, I now know that we both are." And yeah, I didn't know this either, but the creator is actually transgender themselves. So this next story comes from Control. The Ultimate Edition that includes all the DLC has now been delayed to early 2021. Remedy, the developers behind Control, said this on Twitter. They said, "An update from the development team: Control Ultimate Edition will arrive on next-gen platforms early 2021. We want the final quality of the game to be awesome, and so we need a bit more of time to work on it. Thank you for your understanding and patience." This next story comes from Counter-Strike, the original. Earlier this month was actually the game's 20th anniversary. And this next story comes from Demon's Souls, which I think is a remake or a reboot. A YouTuber with over 1.6 million subscribers named Vati Vidya posted this. He found this weird door that literally no one knows how to open, and he said this: "There's a mysterious new door in the Demon's Souls remake, and no one knows how to open it." And this next story comes from Diablo 2. So there is actually a fan remake in development for this, and right now the lead developer is a Twitch streamer with over 10,000 followers. His name is SenPai something. And this next story comes from Doom Eternal. Doomslayer is getting a Nendoroid figure, and I'll leave a link to that if you want to get that. And this next story comes from the Doraemon series. So I think in the last video I talked about a leaked rating over in Taiwan. It was like this learning collection. Well, now it is confirmed, and it is going to be coming out February 4th of next year, only in Japan. This next story comes from the Dragon Age series. I don't think I've ever talked about this, but a Twitter user named Apoduta posted this on Twitter, and he said, "Well, someone had to make it, and it's just Dragon Age crossing over with Among Us." And this next story comes from FIFA21. This has been delayed for the Google Stadia, and as of right now, there is no release date. This next story comes from the Final Fantasy series. So a Twitch streamer with over 200 followers named Methods Costumes posted this on Twitter. This looks amazing in my opinion. This next story comes from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So this has been delayed once again, possibly. No one really knows, but it's just speculation on their side. So in an interview with Inverse, Jason Blum said this. He said, "The story is the big challenge. You know, Five Nights at Freddy's should have been easier because there are books, there's a lot of lore and storytelling. For a video game, I think it has more storytelling than almost any other. But still, the story goes down so many rabbit holes. It goes down so many different directions. It's big. Choosing which part to tell for the first time out of the gate, and how to tell it has been tricky." And this next story comes from the Five Nights at Freddy's series. So a couple videos ago I talked about a leaked core collection It was also a leaked physical for Help Wanted. Well, now that's come true. The core collection gets a physical, and that's coming out in January of next year. And Help Wanted, the physical for that, is out now. And this next story comes from Forza Horizon 4. So this is pretty funny and cool at the same time. This Reddit user named Extremeville posted a video of his car. It was supposed to crash, but it literally glitched through a tree. And I said this down in the comments. I said, humans can't cheat death, but a car can cheat a crash. This next story comes from Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees is now getting a figure or a statue, whatever you want to call it. And I'll leave a link down below if you want to get it. And this next story comes from Half-Life Alex. This has now won the VR Game of the Year. It was announced at the VR Awards. And this next story comes from Halo 2. So earlier this month was the 16th anniversary. This next story comes from Hatsune Miku Logic Paint. For those who don't know, this was I think a mobile game. I'm not sure if it's available here in America. It's now confirmed for the Switch. Right now there is no release date. This next story comes from Kingdom Hearts 2. So Riku is now getting a Nendoroid figure, as with the Doom Slayer. I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to get it. This next story comes from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So there is now a bit of demand for this, and speculation has been rising a bit high. Mostly because Michael Jordan posted this, and he said, "I have been on PlayStation from jump and the experience gets better. Gameplay and graphics are fire. We gotta figure out how to bring back Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Ever since then, some people have been demanding for a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 remake. This next story comes from Mortal Kombat 11. Scarlet Golpista, who I have talked about before, tweeted out this and said, "Today, Mortal Kombat X got a new update. Yup, Mortal Kombat X. Also, another new MK11 DLC slot, minutes ago." Also coming from Mortal Kombat 11, some people have been speculating that maybe the next DLC character has possibly gotten delayed. A Twitter user by the name of Mark said, "Todd, forgive me, but I gotta ask, any chances for a surprise reveal today?" And Todd Gardner responded with, "Well, I thought by the cast's social media you would have figured out we're shooting a few more days. We'd always planned for it and thought we'd do it in March. The pandemic had other plans. We won't have a release date for the movie until theaters are open. Same for trailer." And this next story comes from Nier Replicants. For those who don't know, this is a remake of the very first Nier. I know nothing about this other than it's owned by Square Enix, and it's a spin-off of Drakengard. I don't know how to say that. It's possible that this could be getting a Switch port. So a listing was leaked over in Amazon France, and if you look, you can see that the release date will be April 23rd, 2021. Here's the thing, Amazon France has a tendency of not really being accurate. I mean, I think there was that leak for Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 3, 2 or 3 years ago? That never came true. And this next story comes from Neo. So it is confirmed that this is getting a collection for the PS5 on February 5th of next year. This next story comes from The Outer Worlds. I don't think I've ever talked about this, but Valve News Network, aka Tyler, has tweeted out this and has some information about the next DLC. "Okay, I effectively know about 50% of what the next Outer Worlds DLC is going to include, even though we are months away from release. Are you interested in learning my findings?" And then you can see that a lot of people wanted to see this, so he posted a series of pictures, and I don't know what I think, mainly because I've never played The Outer Worlds, so if you're a hardcore fan of that, please let me know what you think about that. Next story comes from the Pokemon series. I love this. This is probably my favorite thing I'm talking about in this video. A TikTok user with over 85,000 subscribers named Sumi paints over Pokemon cards, and it looks amazing. Next story comes from the Sonic series. So Daisuke Saito, who is in charge of games like F-Zero AX, Super Monkey Ball, and the Yakuza series, said this when he was asked about how he would handle another Sonic game. "It's an IP that I haven't come to before, in the sense that I want to try it. Well, Sonic. After all, when you hear Sega, you think Sonic. I'd like to get involved once at least. But for me, the so-called Sonic is, well, if I were to do it, I wouldn't do Sonic as it was. I would like to make a completely different Sonic." When I hear completely different Sonic, I think something like maybe Sonic Chronicles. I haven't played that, but I heard mixed reactions. This next story comes from Spelunky 2. So a YouTuber with over 4,000 subscribers named Twiggle did a speedrun of this and managed to hit $5 million in just 4 hours. This next story comes from Splatoon 2. No, nothing really happened with the game, but there are shirts that are in the style of Mario that are coming back. Nintendo of America tweeted this out. They said physical Splatoon 2 t-shirts for the upcoming Super Mario themed Splatfest are back. Pick one up today and get ready for the Splatfest action in January. This next story comes from the Star Wars series. So Zynga has now confirmed that they are making a new studio, and a lot of people have been speculating that maybe we're getting another Star Wars game. Me personally, I have never really played a Actually, no, I take it back. That's a lie. The only Star Wars game I have played is Star Wars The Clone Wars for my original Xbox. So me personally, I would want to see a remake of that. This next story is absolutely insane. This comes from Super Mario Brothers. So the world record for a speedrun in this game is held by a YouTuber named Kosmic. And in terms of speedrunners, I look up to Kosmic. He is definitely someone that I look up to and I idolize in terms of speedrunners. Well, someone actually managed to break his record. For context, Kosmic beat Super Mario Bros. In less than 5 minutes. Literally 4 minutes, 55 seconds, 0.646. Remember that last part. Well, a YouTuber named Niftski managed to beat this, and beat it in, I am not joking, 4 minutes, 55 seconds, 0.43. That's pretty much a world record. This next story comes from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So a YouTuber with over 189 subs, I didn't put the YouTuber's name because my dumb self just forgot about that. So to whoever who did this, thank you, and it's awesome, and I am very sorry I didn't put your name. He made it to where you can play the Hyrule Warriors version of Ganondorf, and honestly, that looks cool. Not only that, but there has been a potential hit against a character getting in, and that is Kazuma Kiryu from the Yakuza series. We get a lot of requests for that. Of course, there are exceptions, but fighting games usually have female characters, and I personally don't want Kiryu to hit women. And for this final story comes from 13. So Play Magic has now come forward and apologized, because apparently they've been getting some hate over this. And they said this: that in its present state, 13 does not meet our quality standards, and we fully understand players' frustrations. The pandemic has impacted the game's production on many levels, pivoting to home working for the teams that has added unexpected delays in the development schedule and the QA process. We hope we will be able to provide a day one patch fixing all the issues, but the development of this update is taking more time than unexpected. Please subscribe if you're into gaming news. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video.